Hunters, we're going into a Fed rate in decision tomorrow, and I am monitoring various sectors and movement in the markets. I'm seeing some rotations from large caps and Mag 7 stocks into from Russell 2000 into those Mag 7 stocks. I'm also seeing some movements in utilities, which I think could be a big play, cybersecurity, software, and a few others that I want to discuss here on this episode of the Daily Hunt. Let's get right into it. The market looks good right now. However, there is a shift in the market into value stocks compared to momentum stocks. And this is one of the reasons why my portfolio since September hasn't done as well as it should do. If I show you guys this chart really quickly here, you're going to be able to see what I mean by the shift in value and value outperforming momentum. So here's a chart of value, right? We're looking at value factor ETF by iShares. And you can see here from the pivot point in April, we've seen a huge move, and we've seen a consistent dip and then a rebuy dip and a rebuy dip and a rebuy, and we've seen this move continuously into value stocks. Okay, now I'm a momentum trader, and I made a large chunk of my profits last year, around 64% that I made last year. We were as high as 101% in the TrendHunters portfolio that I share in the Discord group. I made most of my money with momentum. I trade momentum stocks. If you look at the comparison here with momentum, you're going to be able to see, sorry, one second. You're going to be able to see that momentum died out in the markets around September. And this is when I started losing a big chunk of my profits that I generated last year. So yes, we had this big momentum move into April, mid-April. Huge gains here the first couple of months. Then we had some more gains coming in around the summer and August into September. But then since then, we've seen volatility in the market, so especially momentum stocks and low momentum here. So value has been where you should be focusing if you wanted, let's say, consistent gains. And that could be healthcare, that was basic materials, which were fairly undervalued. The other thing that I wanted to cover in this episode is where the market is, okay? Just quickly flicking through some of these here. Give me 1 second. I want to look at the relationship between Mag 7 and Russell 2000. If you look at this chart here, I identified this as a key pivot point on Thursday and then Friday as well. I felt like we were undervalued on the Mag 7. We needed a mean reversion, probably to around the 20 EMA, maybe even this previous support zone to retest here. That's exactly what we've seen. We've seen Mag 7 stocks outperforming Russell. And then during that period, we've also seen the NASDAQ breaking out and showing a momentum. We've seen S&P 500 showing some strength while the Russell is consolidating. And it makes sense because when you think about interest rates, if interest rates are reduced on Wednesday, then we will see movement in the Russell 2000. If not, then it's probably going to consolidate or maybe even dip a little bit, and cash and capital will flow into the Mag 7, I think, and the larger caps as it is doing right now. Even when I look at the relationship between QQQ and the S&P 500, there's a clear movement into QQQ versus the S&P 500. So large caps are doing well. There's a rotation there. Now, where is the rotation going into? Is it going into semiconductors, previous leading industries? Is it going to go into software? Is it going to go into other tech stocks? Let's see. My prediction is we've seen a nice growth in semiconductors, and I think that it's looking like it will move into software and move into other tech sectors. So, because we've seen a nice growth in semiconductors, I also have a couple of semiconductor stocks. I'm looking to scale out of those opportunities and take some profits off the table with the idea of rotating into software where I think there'll be decent movements. I'll just show you guys quickly a chart here. So, two sectors we have cybersecurity, which I think is due a mean reversion to the ETF, at least, is due a mean reversion to about 84. You're talking about a 5% move in the ETF, probably a 10 to 15% move in most of those stocks, depending on which stocks you're buying in the cybersecurity space. I'll be looking at CrowdStrike and a few other big players, but I think there'll be a rotation in cybersecurity and a move there. The other thing, the other sector that I'm looking at is tech software. As you can see here, we've seen a significant decline in software, and I feel like we've entered now a stage where there'll be a reversal happening here. Now, it could happen shortly. There'll be a short move into software, so I have to be very cautious about the setups and the plays, and this is why the community is there to be able to guide the members with my analysis, broad market analysis, and macros, and then be able to give you guys some ideas on my watch list in terms of what I'll be trading. Okay, so that's those are the main ones that I'm looking at. The other sector that I'm looking at is gas and oil, right? So energy has been doing extremely well. However, what I'm seeing is a relationship where gas and oil is underperforming compared to energy. Okay. So I feel like gas and oil will do well. We're seeing this with the US oil chart showing signs of a potential move to $70. That would trigger a shift here. And I think oil and gas could be a big player. On top of that, I also like utilities. Okay. So if you look at utilities here, there's a clear trend line descending here. We've seen a head and shoulder pattern, inverted head and shoulder pattern develop here. Head, two shoulders. And if we break up above the trend line, the probability is very high that we're going to get a nice run, maybe to 43, 45 on this ETF, State Street Utilities ETF, and probably big moves in utility stocks as well. So I'll be looking at some utility stocks in the next couple of weeks. If you guys want to know what I'm watching in each of these sectors as well as other sectors, go and join the Discord group. You'll get more insights there about the markets, market conditions, macro insights, and the important analysis that's going to come tomorrow. Make sure to also subscribe on here. Follow me on all my social medias, and see you tomorrow.